Hello, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of From the Heart. And today, I bring you some mythical stories from behind the mysterious doors, the things that we don't see at night, and the things that go bump in the attic. Or, in the case here, clocks that are actually running our lives from day to day, plants that are trying to kick us out of our inheritance, magic potions that just teach us about confidence, and icebergs that I don't really understand what they do. Well, recently I just got this random stack of comics from somebody, and I seen there were some old Twilight Zone ones in there, and I thought I'd give this thing a read, and I gotta say, it was a little bit enjoyable. There's some parts in this that did make me kind of chuckle to myself, because it's just flat out fucking ridiculous. For the most part, it was very mid-par. I think there's some stories in here that would make you say, what? It all ends up very abruptly, and I thought I would just kind of share some of these with you. Now, the main one on here is called The Twilight Zone, The Time Tyrant, and while I did think that this whole little tiny single issue comic would be the entire story, well, each one's actually only about 4 to 5 pages or something along those lines, maybe 12, I can't remember exactly, but they are very short. But to start off, we are taken aback into a clockmaster's shop where he is assembling all these different clocks, and he starts noticing this little tiny piece that he has put in every single clock that is made, and he just feels like that when he's at work, it seems like maybe the clocks are slowing down and nobody will believe him, but he just knows, that this is the case. Everybody just kind of tells him, you know, if they're really slowing down the clocks, then how come when we get outside all those clocks are at the same place? And he is just losing his goddamn mind, and he says, this is the worst job. What a joke. I don't know what this blasted part does. And he's staring at it, he's looking at this tiny little blue crystal, and he says, blasted thing doesn't do anything, isn't connected anywhere, it just sits there trying to fit in. And the monologue starts to begin, but it must have done something, because I put one of those blasted things in every single clock, watch, and timepiece that came my way. 8 hours a day in and day out, the same thing. And he says, man, I'll go nuts if I have to do any more of this clockwork. I can't stand it! And the worst part was watching the clock. Every minute seemed to drag like dripping honey, until I was sure that they were tampering with the time, slowing it down just like they had back in grade school. Now, I don't know what he's talking about. I've never encountered something like this. I don't think that is something that they do, because why would they be trying to get more school out of you, especially once you leave? How are you gonna keep up with keeping every clock in the city backwards, alright? Shaving off minutes of the day just to squeeze out a little more work out of you, and whatever you're doing that is involving clocks. But he takes this nice lady out to the diner, and they're sitting there having themselves a nice little conversation, and he says, blast it all, I swear I can feel it slow down when I'm in there. And the lady says, oh, don't be silly, besides your theory has a loophole. If they slow down the clocks down on the inside, then how come when we leave at the end of the day, it's the same time outside? I had to admit, she had me stumped. For the moment! This guy's still on this thing. He is very much determined that this is what's going on here, and he will not hold back, alright? He needs to stop whatever the fuck's going on, alright? He knows that they're stealing time from him just to make him get out a few more clocks a day. And he's sitting in bed, and he's wondering how? How in the hell do they do this? How do they keep every single clock turned backwards like this? It only took me a few days to find an answer. It's simple. This whole town's in the con, speeding up and slowing down to get more work out of us. And the lady's just kind of sitting there, just starting to think, you know, maybe there's something wrong about this fella. And she says, but you forget, my wristwatch, how do they control it? How? She couldn't persuade me. Day after day under the clock's watchful glare, I became more convinced that something was wrong. I felt like I was being watched. I began to daydream about this strange breed of robot monsters that had invaded my world. Long ago, people must have lived by rhythm of nature, a system that was too lax to suit the reimaginative ways of clocks. But when time became money, things changed. People fell to line. They started following the dictators of time, until they ate when the clocks told them to, and went home when the clocks told them to, and woke up when they told them to, until they were everywhere, commanding everything. Clocks had conquered the world. Man was a prisoner of time, and it didn't even know it. But who was behind this? There must be some underlying intelligence, some evil power, a master clock, It all fit. And it shows him going off into his bedroom, and he starts having this dream, alright? He has fallen asleep, and he imagines himself on this assembly line. He's seeing people being scootered across this thing with these weird, like, clock robots stuffing these little blue crystals into their brain, alright? Something maybe possibly to line them up with every other clock to make them change as they pass by. But it's very freaky, okay? These are very classic, like 50s looking robots, 60s, or whenever the hell this came out. But suddenly he's up next and he's screaming his head off. He can't stand this. He doesn't want to be worked on by these goddamn clocks. These motherfucking clocks that just won't leave him alone. That want to steal 5 minutes out of his day, alright? He's no longer allowed to watch Leave It to Beaver. He's late. Every single day he misses Leave It to Beaver, and he is goddamn sick of it, alright? That is his favorite show. They're stealing this from him, and he can't take it anymore. And suddenly it is his turn, and one of these clocks begins to talk to him, and he says, "Oh, but yes, Joshua, go ahead. Look closer, puny human." And like I said, this is a robot with a clock for a head, alright? This is a whole race, clocks on their head. I don't know what kind of civilization would do this, what kind of evolutionary traits this would have to happen. They're ready to stuff this little blue crystal inside of his dome piece. See for yourself what you already know. See for yourself why it is futile to resist us, why you will seem to be part of us. No! No! The stinking little gizmo I've been installing in all these months. It's a remote control device. And it shows him just screaming, alright? This is a very far-fetched theory. This guy is taking a fever dream to a whole new level. And he wakes up and he's sitting at his bed and he's just freaking out. And he says, "It made sense somehow. The master clock coordinated all the clocks in the world by remote control. And they controlled us. Got to find it. Destroy it before it's too late. Before they steal any more time. Before I miss another fucking episode of Malcolm in the Middle, goddammit." And suddenly he has a gun in his hand. I don't know where he's going. I don't know how he's gonna find the location of this master timepiece clock. It's all just so ridiculous. And he said, "I know if I see the place from the dream again, I'll recognize it." And then I knew what I had to do. And he's basically about to go on a murder spree for all these clocks, alright? He's about to fucking just gun down every single one of them that he sees. And basically no Rolex is safe. Never again will he miss the latest episode of Roseanne. Never again will he miss the fights between Dan and Roseanne, alright? He needs to know the conclusion of the episode. And suddenly cut to this police station. There's some cops sitting there a month later at the local precinct headquarters. "That's it, ma'am. He hasn't been seen since. We found this diary when we searched his apartment. It was filled with nonsense about clocks and robots." And she's just kind of like, "What the fuck? I've been hanging out with this guy, and it does seem like maybe something was not right here, alright?" And she says, "If anything comes up, be sure to let me know." And they say, "Sure, ma'am. We sure will." And these cops are just kind of sitting there smiling at each other, just kind of wondering, you know, what is going on in this town, alright? What is wrong with all these people? He says, "Real weird one, huh, Vinny?" Guy goes completely bonkers, and he yawns, and he says, "Say, what time is it? Is it quitting time yet?" And the other cop looks at his watch, and suddenly he realizes that his clock has stopped. And the other one is looking at his clock as well, with just the craziest look. He's like, "So is mine!" And I don't know why they're so concerned. It's just two clocks. It's like, it's just blowing their minds, and everything in this is just a little campy. Everybody's taking themselves very seriously. And suddenly, you see Joshua, the man who's been ranting and raving about this clocks the entire time. And he's pinned up against this golden clock, alright? And he's chained against it, and he's screaming like something very bad is going on. It's almost as if these clock robots have actually captured him. He actually found the place, which I don't know where the hell he would have gone. He's this man from this factory. So, yes. It doesn't explain everything, alright, so we'll just take that as fact. And it says, "Coincidence, officer? Or has Joshua Wise just won the first round in an epic battle that may well decide the fate of all mankind? Fought in the Twilight Zone." The end. Now, I don't know what you all thought about that. When I first read it, I was like, man, that was kind of whack, alright? Not very much explanation, not too much going on, but a fun read nonetheless, and I'm excited to go through some of these other Twilight Zone comics. Some of the weird little stories that are in them. There is one, it's like the third story that's in this book that made me crack up. I'll do a separate video for that. At the moment, I'm just kind of trying to make some more snack-sized videos for the in-between of the 40-minute ones, because they take so long, and I want to be able to do midweek releases as long songs a Saturday. But doing 2 videos a week on books that are over 200 pages, 300 pages is just really starting to get to be a lot, alright? I do hope you guys enjoy this. Tell me what you think about this Twilight Zone. Is it whack? Is it good? Are you ready to take the fight to the next level, to the masters of the clocks that are controlling this entire world? It is an interesting idea, but an entire species of basically aliens that have mechanical clocks as heads? I mean, who's making these things? Are they born like that? Is it the beginning of Gear World? I guess we'll just never find out. But anyways, I would rate this story a 6 out of 10, alright? It's not very good, it's very short, no explanation, but nonetheless, it is a pretty fun read, and I think it gives us something to be wary about. Something to keep our eye on, alright? I don't have any physical clocks in this room, all I have is the digital one, and I guess if they really did want to do this, if it was really such a grand conspiracy by, say, the Illuminati or something, I guess we'd be a hell of a lot closer than we would back in the day when this was written with all of our digital smartphones and stuff, but it's just way too far-fetched and absolutely ridiculous. So, without a doubt, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and comment, subscribe. It would help me out a ton. So, once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was enjoyable. And I will see you on the next video, or wherever you see me. Have a great night.